Breaking tonight, Ukraine let Russia launch their drones first, then wiped out the control center.
November 28, 2025, somewhere deep in Russian-occupied Crimea, a military airfield called Saki sits quiet under the night sky. Inside a fortified hangar, Russian drone operators are preparing their Orion reconnaissance drones. Long-range four-post drones sit ready for deployment. Command staff check their equipment. Outside, air defense systems scan the horizon, Pantsir S-1 and Tor M2 missile batteries protecting the base. But high above, invisible in the darkness, Ukrainian drones are already flying toward them. And the Russians have no idea what's coming. This wasn't just another strike, this was surgical warfare. Ukraine had been watching this airfield for weeks. They knew exactly what was inside, and they had a plan that would turn Russia's own strategy against them. Why did this target matter so much? Because Saki Airfield wasn't just storing drones. It was a command hub for Russia's most advanced unmanned warfare operations in the region. The base served as a strategic point for monitoring Ukraine's coastal zones and launching strikes on maritime drones. Russian forces used this location to hunt Ukrainian naval drones that had been attacking Russian ships in the Black Sea. The Orion drone has a wingspan of about 16 meters and can carry up to 200 kilograms of payload. These machines could fly for 24 hours straight, reaching altitudes of 7,000 meters. They were Russia's eyes over the Black Sea, tracking Ukrainian movements, coordinating attacks, protecting supply lines. Lose this base and you lose control of a massive surveillance network. But there was something even more valuable inside that hangar. These weren't just drones, this was infrastructure, maintenance facilities, storage areas, launch systems, communication equipment, everything Russia needed to keep their drone operations running smoothly in Crimea. Ukrainian intelligence knew if they could destroy this hub, they'd cripple Russian reconnaissance capabilities across the entire southern front. So how do you attack a heavily defended airfield? You don't just fly in and hope for the best. You plan, you calculate, you strike in layers. Ukrainian forces prepared a specialized weapon for this mission, FP-2 drones, confirmed by Commander Robert Madyar Brovdy. These weren't small reconnaissance drones. These were strike drones designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory and deliver devastating payloads. They could fly over 20 kilometers behind enemy lines. They could navigate through air defenses, and they could hit with precision. But first, they had to deal with those air defense systems. Pantsir S-1 batteries are no joke. These systems can track and destroy incoming threats with radar-guided missiles and anti-aircraft guns. Tor M2 systems provide medium-range protection. Together, they create a defensive bubble that's hard to penetrate, unless you take them out first. The Ukrainian strike package launched in the dead of night, multiple drones heading towards Saki airfield from different directions. Some were decoys, designed to overwhelm Russian radar. Others were the real killers, loaded with explosives and programmed for specific targets. Russian air defense operators detected the incoming drones. Alarms sounded, systems activated, missiles launched into the sky. They thought they were handling another Ukrainian probe, another attempt that would fail like others before. But this was different. This time, Ukraine had done their homework. The first wave of drones hit the air defense systems. Explosions ripped through the Pantsir S-1 positions. The Tor M2 batteries took direct hits. Russian air defenses at the site were destroyed, including Pantsir S-1 and Tor M2 missile systems. Within minutes, the protective shield around Saki airfield collapsed. Now the base was naked. No air defenses, no protection, just sitting there waiting for what came next. And what came next was devastating. With the air defenses neutralized, Ukrainian drones flew straight into the heart of the base. Following the neutralization of the air defenses, Ukrainian troops destroyed the hangar storing long-range four-post and Orion drones. The explosions lit up the night sky. Fire consumed the hangar. Inside, millions of dollars worth of advanced Russian drone technology burned. But Ukraine wasn't done yet. Ukraine struck a Russian command and control center and a CAM-AS military truck as well. The command center, where Russian officers coordinated drone operations across the entire region, took a direct hit. Communications went dark. Coordination collapsed. The entire operation fell apart. Russian personnel at the base scrambled to respond, but there was nothing they could do. The drones they relied on were burning. The systems they used to communicate were destroyed. The officers who gave orders were either dead or scattered. And then, as if to add insult to injury, another fire broke out. After the Ukrainian attack on Crimea, a fire was also reported near the Saki thermal power plant at the Yadabram Scientific and Production Association. This facility, located just 250 meters from the thermal power plant, produces chemical products and equipment. Whether intentional or collateral damage, the fire spread panic through the area. The strike accomplished multiple objectives in one operation. It destroyed Russia's drone storage and maintenance infrastructure. It eliminated a command and control hub. It took out critical air defense systems. And it sent a clear message: nowhere is safe. But this wasn't an isolated incident. On the same night, Ukrainian forces were hitting targets across occupied territories and deep inside Russia. Ukraine's general staff confirmed strikes on the Saratov oil refinery hundreds of kilometers away. Multiple targets, multiple locations. A coordinated campaign designed to stretch Russian defenses thin and maximize damage. This is modern drone warfare. It's not about massive bomber raids or tank columns, it's about precision, intelligence, timing. Ukraine had studied this base, identified its weaknesses, planned the perfect sequence of strikes, and executed with surgical precision. The impact goes beyond just destroying equipment. When you take out a drone command center, you disrupt an entire network. Russian forces in the region lost their surveillance capabilities. They couldn't track Ukrainian naval drones anymore. They couldn't coordinate strikes on coastal targets. They couldn't provide real-time intelligence to ground forces. And here's the thing about infrastructure: it takes time to rebuild. You can't just fly in new drones and expect everything to work. You need facilities, maintenance crews, communication systems, trained operators. All of that takes weeks, maybe months to restore. Ukraine has been systematically targeting Russian infrastructure throughout 2025. Ukraine launched its air offensive in January 2025 and has since hit dozens of high-value targets in Russia, including oil refineries, air bases, armament production facilities, and military sites. Each strike weakens Russia's ability to sustain the war. Each destroyed facility forces Russia to divert resources to defense rather than offense. The Seki airfield strike represents a shift in how Ukraine is fighting this war. They're not just defending anymore, they're taking the fight to Russian-controlled territory. They're hunting high-value targets. They're using intelligence and technology to level the playing field against a much larger military. And Russia is feeling it. In March 2025, Moscow imposed a 6-month ban on gasoline exports that has since been extended to the end of 2025 in an apparent bid to prevent domestic shortages and price spikes. That's not the action of a country that's winning easily. That's the action of a country whose infrastructure is under serious pressure. The psychological impact matters too. Russian commanders know their bases can be hit. Their operators know they're not safe even deep in occupied territory. Every night, they wonder if Ukrainian drones are coming for them. That fear, that constant tension, it wears on people. For Ukrainian forces, strikes like this provide breathing room. Every Russian surveillance drone destroyed is one less threat to Ukrainian naval operations. Every command center eliminated is one less coordination hub directing attacks. Every successful strike proves that Ukraine can reach out and hurt Russia where it matters. The Seki strike also showcased Ukraine's growing domestic weapons production. In August 2025, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the Palyantsia missile drone as our new method of retaliation against the aggressor. Ukraine isn't just relying on Western weapons anymore. They're building their own. They're innovating. They're adapting. This is what modern warfare looks like in 2025. Drones hunting drones. Precision strikes on command centers. Intelligence-driven operations that maximize impact while minimizing risk to personnel. It's a far cry from World War II-style bombing campaigns or Cold War tank battles. As the fires burned at Seki airfield, as Russian personnel surveyed the wreckage of their drone operations hub, as commanders tried to figure out how to restore their surveillance network, Ukraine proved a point. Technology matters, intelligence matters. And no matter how deep you hide your facilities, no matter how many air defenses you deploy, if your enemy knows where you are and has the weapons to reach you, you're vulnerable. The war continues. Russia still occupies Ukrainian territory. Fighting still rages along the front lines. But strikes like the one on Seki airfield shift the balance, piece by piece, target by target. In the ruins of that hangar, where advanced Russian drones once sat ready for missions, now there's just twisted metal and ash. The command center where officers coordinated operations is silent. The air defense systems that were supposed to protect everything lie destroyed. And somewhere in Ukraine, intelligence analysts are already identifying the next target, planning the next strike, preparing the next operation. Because in this war, standing still means losing, and Ukraine has no intention of standing still. What would you have done differently if you were defending that airfield? How would you protect critical drone infrastructure from precision strikes when the enemy knows exactly where you are? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want more stories about modern warfare, tactical strikes, and the technology reshaping the battlefield, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This war is evolving every single day, and the next major strike could happen tonight.